This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, plus Nate minus Alex.
Half a homie, or half the homies.
Half the homies are here for the
Sorry.
recording today. Is anybody going to take over a sound effect to replace Alex?
He's not here.
He's not here. That is a funny story. That is the name of a bar in Chapel Hill, North Carolina,
Okay.
that I have visited before going to University of North Carolina game when they took on the University of Pittsburgh when I was visiting loyal listener Tim. And the name of the bar is He's Not Here. And the lore goes that there was a gentleman that was often at this establishment, and his wife would call and ask if he was there. And the response that the bartenders would always provide was, "He's not here," even though he was there. And that was his cue that he needed to leave. And that name just kind of stuck.
All right. I like that.
So a bar-themed comment from Nate is perfect for Alex, who we hope is drinking all the Busch Lights at a graduation party right now.
Sometimes I forget you all are in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. So when Busch Light comes up in the conversation, like I get a warmness in my heart because not a lot of that happens out here.
What are they drinking out there, Jim? What's the drink of choice?
Some overly talked about IPA, I'm sure.
From a microbrew, a local
Yeah, I'm
microbrew,
sure.
one of the billion.
Buckeye Ale or something.
Yeah, or the White Claw.
Okay. How do we go from?
I don't understand it, Muff. I just chug along.
You chugged it along with some White Claw.
No. No, I drink my Jack and Coke. I don't deviate.
So you either get white girl wasted or you pay too much for an IPA.
Yeah.
Those are the options.
That's pretty much what it looks like.
Well, don't tell Harrison Butker.
Right.
Today is Monday, May 20th, and it has been an eventful 2 weeks since our last podcast recording, so we have lots to chat about today. Topics for this week will include the NFL schedule release, the PGA Championship, along with the arrest of #1 player in the world, Scottie Scheffler. Discussion about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark's debut for the Indiana Fever.
I'm hoping not just her debut, but some games later.
Okay, they've played 3 games thus far, so yes, we can talk about all 3 games if you want, Jim.
Yeah, I'll find the info I want to talk about. Carry on.
Okay. We'll talk about the Preakness and if Mystic Dan was able to continue the quest for the Triple Crown. In the NFL, we'll also talk about any fandom update for Jim. Does he have an NFL team after consulting with his wife again?
I am on track to get one.
Okay. And we'll do check-ins on the NBA and NHL playoffs, along with a little bit of chat about the fight game, as we had a heavyweight boxing title match over the weekend and the upcoming Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. As always, thanks to everybody that's interacting with our social content on all of our accounts at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Don't forget to hammer the subscribe button, comment, rate, like, review.
Get the bell
on YouTube. Hit that bell so you can get updates about any of our upcoming content. But before we get into anything today, we have a belated birthday wish to Sam, whose birthday was on Saturday.
Friday.
Friday?
It was Friday.
Was it Friday, Nate?
Yeah.
How come you didn't tell me and Alex?
She wasn't in town, so what did it matter?
Okay. Alex,
Fair
Nate, and
enough.
I intended to go to the driving range on Friday. Unfortunately, the skies opened up and God said, "We hate golf for all of you today." So we met at a local watering hole, and Nate did not remind us, let us know that it was Sam's birthday. I thought it was on Saturday.
I was in New Orleans, so visiting all the saints. So it was fine.
Did you get a hand grenade?
No.
Did not
But I
get
got I got a really nice picture of the Superdome as I drove by.
while you were
Why?
driving.
No, I had an Uber.
Okay.
Why do you leave Nate behind on your travels?
He was actually invited on this, and the plane tickets were too expensive to come home, so he did not come.
Yeah, so my original plan was to go down. She went down Wednesday to NOLA, and I was going to go down Thursday, and then I was going to go to LSU for their baseball game against Ole Miss on Friday. But between airfare, renting a car, it would have just been too much, in my opinion, for 2.5 days.
Gotcha.
So he was invited. And next year, my conference is in the land of Mickey Mouse, so maybe he'll want to come to that
Florida
Gotcha.
or California?
one. Florida.
I already told her while she's in meetings, I'm going to go get drunk around the world.
Fair.
That's not a bad way to spend your time in Orlando. All right. Before we get to anything sports related, let's do a quick check-in chat about the debate that Austin Rivers brought up on the Pat McAfee show regarding his statement that at least 30 NBA players would be able to make the switch to the NFL. Do we think this is an accurate number? Do we think this is realistic? If it is possible, what players could do it from either side? And what are the biggest issues that we think players would face trying to make this leap?
I definitely don't think there's 30 guys in the NBA, and I'm not even a basketball guy. But there's no way there's 30.
Are there any off the top of your head, Nate, that you would say, this guy might or could do it?
LeBron in his 20s.
Okay, I definitely would agree. LeBron, younger LeBron could do it.
Draymond.
Do we think Draymond could do it?
Draymond's got that dog in him.
Draymond once did a spring practice with the Michigan State Spartans. Did not go well for him, although it was his first time on the football field, I believe. So I don't think we can hold that against him.
Yeah, I would
So
say Draymond could do it
Are we just talking current guys, or we just mean
We're
guys in
taking
general?
right now. Players in the NBA
right now.
Okay, because I was going to say Shaq could have been a hell of a lineman just because of his size.
Um,
Other names tossed out have been maybe like Russ Westbrook, who could be a defensive back potentially. A lot of talk about just tall NBA players being like goal line package receivers.
I couldn't think of 30 off the top of my head if you paid me. I think Jalen Brunson, could probably be a good receiver.
Potentially. Yeah. I think that's the
Um,
position that people are looking at is like tight end receiver, maybe a defensive back.
yeah.
I think there's anybody that's playing and nobody's going to be on the line. I think it's going to be a tight end or receiver. How about there any NFL players we think could make the transition to the NBA?
If any of them could shoot, they're definitely athletic enough.
I'm
there any-
sure there's a bunch of receivers that can make the switch over.
You know what? Give me DK Metcalf at a forward.
Okay. The biggest issue that people were talking about the other transition was the height, really, because most of your players that on the football field are huge are like mid in the NBA as far as height. Now, obviously, they're stacked. They're going to be a little bit more physically intimidating, but is that really going to? Zion was definitely one that was discussed. He could be a tight end, but what about NFL to the NBA, Jim?
I can't think off the top of my damn head. Was not prepared for this part.
Myles Garrett was somebody that was talked about because he does have some videos out there, but he's like 6'3", I think. And that's
But
short.
he could definitely work his way down in the post.
Yeah, he could potentially like just body people up. So that was the biggest thing was the height and the skill set, like the shooting, and the physicality from the NBA going to the NFL. So I think this is going to be one of those discussions going to continue throughout the summer because it just helps bring relevance to the NBA after the finals are over and the NFL prior to the season starting. So I think we'll see this continue to go about. Any final thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a lot of 6'7" guys like that
In
might be able to swing it.
the NFL
Yeah.
that aren't offensive linemen.
Right. Dude, let's look at the Houston offense here. There could be some tight ends
Let's say tight ends is the position that most people were chatting about.
that might be able to do both. Houston's roster is short. Damn.
I think you're going to find that in most NFL rosters, Jim.
No, I mean they short. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anybody. No, I'm gonna definitely say just because of the size, like there's some tall boys, but they big.
You're right. That's the line. The tackles are like 6'6", 6'7", but they're not 7-foot shacks.
No.
All right.
Like there's some Ohio State guys. Like I don't want to catch the shit, but like there's some Ohio State guys I'd be like, meh, maybe. But I just stumbled on Jeremy Ruckert, the tight end for the Jets that came from Ohio State. I could see him doing it. I think Marv could do it. I mean, I think he wouldn't be able to play because he'd have like 14 contract issues, but
More to come on that. More to come on that later. So
maybe
a conversation that I'm sure will continue. So let's get into the NFL schedule release and other relevant football news. The schedule release took place last Wednesday, and it didn't disappoint. It showed again why the NFL is king in the sports world, as we're talking about the schedule release while we have the NHL playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and the WNBA season getting started. And the schedule releases are not dominating, but very relevant in the social world. There were some games that were released prior to Wednesday by many of the broadcast networks, which I think is understandable given they pay billions of dollars to show the games. So I think they get some latitude from the NFL. As we knew the Christmas games, and I think that the games abroad, correct? Those are the games that were leaked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So as far as the schedule releases and the social teams, the Chargers did a Sims themed release as opposed to their traditional anime. Any thoughts on that release?
It was good.
It was good. It included Harrison Butker in the kitchen for the Chiefs game, which we'll
Yeah, I
talk more
think it
about that
was
later.
on topic or on point as far as like current event stuff goes. I thought it was okay.
Which that's what their anime options were too, right? It was
Right.
very current and relevant. The Eagles had a psychological readiness video with lots of fans talking about what their first thought was when presented with the logo of the team that was being played week to week. And these were like set up fans. These weren't like, hey, we just bring people in off the street. It seemed a bit scripted, but it was still interesting. Jim, you found another one for the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
It was their Twitter video,
Yeah. It was okay.
which
I thought it
was
was I don't even remember to tell you the truth. Oh
that
my
was the
gosh,
can that
Haun's
was the
opinion.
candy that was the candy bowl.
Oh yeah, that was stupid. I hated that one.
That seemed to be
Candy
like their
that
Twitter release. It wasn't their official one.
I did not like that one. They were dumping candy that represents the teams they're gonna
Mhm.
play. Did not like that one.
Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't like the candy one either.
The Titans were back on the strip, replicating last year's video, asking the logo questions. Didn't go as hard this year. I had to dig a little bit to find it.
No, I still have to laugh at how many people still think that the Colts logo is the Cowboys.
That is an oft mixed up one. The Falcons modeled their video after the early 2000s video game NFL Street and also went bare knuckles with a few jabs. They took shots at the David Tepper Water Cup, the Aints/Kirk Cousins, you like that sign. And they suggested that Deion Sanders is the best football coach in the state of Colorado over Sean Payton. I like this one just for the sheer factor of NFL streets as being something that I grew up on.
I kind of figured you would.
Steelers had James Harrison, who is known in Steelers world as Debo, having current players try to make him laugh with jokes related to that week's opponents. It was pretty simple. Steelers haven't necessarily knocked it out of the park with any of these, but
I thought this was stupid as fuck.
it was
Mhm.
funny for Steelers fans, I'll say, just because of the Debo persona.
Still stupid as fuck.
The Patriots had Julian Edelman in a Goodwill Hunting offshoot. Also included Gronk a little bit at the end.
It was okay. I like that. I like Julian Edelman. I like Goodwill Hunting. It's okay.
And the Cowboys prank called all of their opponents' fans, including the likes of Eli Manning, for their video.
Yeah, I saw the one where they called Dawn Staley, the head coach of South Carolina women's basketball, and she just like mean mugged him the whole time.
Other videos that you all saw or items you want to talk about from the schedule release,
I thought people tried too hard this time around.
such as
I just, in general, like I thought they were all just like it's losing its punch for me.
Yeah, everybody's just trying to one up the Chargers, and it's not happening.
Yeah, it's just the
But then I also feel for the Germans.
go on, Nate.
Well, because we're sending the Giants and the Panthers to Germany.
that number one overseas market gets that game.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, granted, it's in like end of October, beginning of November, sometime in that window. So, I mean, who knows? These teams could actually be worth a damn. But when you look at a preseason, you're like, are you kidding me? Like, we get one game a year, and this is who you're going to send us?
Yeah. Yeah, there's discussion about the Germans make up the majority of even like games in London. Like people from Germany will travel to London to watch NFL games, and I think this is we got to put other people over there, and no matter who we bring over, you're going to come watch it. So this will be the year that you get two crap teams that we just think need to travel.
Dumb.
Netflix has the Christmas Day games this year, including the Chiefs at the Steelers and the Ravens at the Texans. And this, I mean, the NFL is starting to just take over all of the major holidays that they can within their orbit. And their strategic move, NFL fans would now have to close out of the Netflix app to watch any NBA games that are happening on Christmas Day, because that's what everyone wants to do when they're 2 or 3 drinks deep on Christmas Day after everybody's opened their presents, is close out of apps to watch NBA games as opposed to NFL games. So I feel like NBA viewership is going to be down even more this year.
Goodell's a genius when it comes to this.
He just continues to make everything go up for the
Yeah.
NFL. And this is just another one of those options. And Netflix has some huge number, hundreds of millions of subscribers.
Yeah. They were talking about on McAfee, it's like 260 some million worldwide subscribers.
Mm-hmm. And his
Cutting the
worldwide
cord is going to be a joke. Like, if you all remember the days of like, we're going to cut the cord and screw the cable company, like, nah, they caught on to us. And the NFL is probably one of the biggest proponents of, we're not going to let them cut the cord. Like, they're going to be on this app, they're going to be on that app. NFL, the Raj caught on real quick. What is he on? Prime? He's on Netflix. He's got his own app. He's on YouTube TV with the Sunday Ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got his finger on in every app, it feels like. I'm pretty sure he's on Paramount too, right? Because that's CBS.
They may show games. I don't think they're exclusive.
They're not on Peacock, are they?
No. Well, that's NBC, so he's got to have something there.
You have football on Peacock. That's more of college now, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, that's the Notre Dame channel. Nobody cares about Notre Dame.
Amen.
They're the Cowboys of college football, loser since whatever year.
Preach, Nate, preach.
Speaking of football on different nights of the week, RG3 has been replaced by Jason Kelsey for Monday Night Football on ESPN. I think this is a good move.
Period right there. Just put a period right there. the headlines that I saw were RG3 was fired and replaced by Jason Kelsey. That narrative I do not like. While it may be true, I just don't like it.
He was fired from Monday Night Football, but he's still with ESPN.
Right.
So I don't know if you call that being fired. That's just you had to do different games now.
I don't know if Jason Kelsey's going to be any good.
He definitely has a different perspective, I think, but I don't know. Right, if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey break up, is this going to be one of those things that kind of fizzles out?
I just think he should have stayed. Like for him, I think it was a move where he should have stayed where he was at, and maybe gone the route with Pat McAfee, or he should have been a rebel and not signed on yet. Maybe down the road, but not right now.
I don't know. He's a entertaining individual, so we'll see.
He is. Like I said, he has interesting takes. I just don't know if they're going to hit all at all times. You also had officially, I mean, it's Tom Brady is replacing Greg Olson as on the number one crew for Fox.
Now that I'm excited for.
You are excited for that?
Very much.
There's a lot of people that felt the other way, that Greg Olson, I mean, while I don't think he had any great argument as to why he should be above Tom Brady, that Greg Olson did well, and nobody liked that Tom Brady just came in year one and took that number one spot.
Nope. I tell you what, Tom Brady was on the Pivot podcast, changed my whole take on Tom Brady. My whole take on him. He is a very, unless that was a giant act and he's fooled me, and maybe I fell in love with his eyes like everybody else. But I am so pumped. I would say I'm a Tom Brady guy.
You like a Michigan player?
I'm a Tom Brady guy.
You like a Michigan player?
You heard me. I'm a Tom Brady guy.
Okay, Nate, you heard it too, right?
I heard it, and it's recorded.
It is
It's going in the archives.
On in the archives.
I am a Tom Brady guy.
Speaking of teams in the Michigan Ohio State rivalry, the apparel company Fanatics filed a lawsuit against Marvin Harrison Jr. in New York Supreme Court last Saturday, according to ESPN, alleging that he breached a contract they agreed to last May. Fanatics said that Harrison has refused to fulfill his obligations in the contract and that he's publicly asserted that the contract doesn't even exist. Fanatics said that despite paying Harrison twice, he has refused to fulfill these obligations after, quote unquote, several requests. In fact, the company claimed Harrison rejected or ignored every request that was sent. Jim, is there any discussion in Columbus land about the Fanatics Harrison contract?
Not a single one. Should there be? Absolutely.
What are we talking about in Columbus right now?
It's very quiet. You might hear the rumbles of like, man, he better pull it off this year. Man, I don't want to see a loss to Michigan again. But like, there's really not a lot of talk yet, man.
Setting. What do we think is true with this Fanatics Harrison dispute? What do we
He
think
should
is
have
going to
never
come out of
hired
this?
his dad as his agent. I mean, that's what's true.
Do we think that a contract exists?
Oh yeah. I do.
He probably just doesn't know what's in it. He probably just signed off and said, "Hey, we're going to give you this money." He's like, "Okay."
Harrison has the junior has no idea about anything. He said, "Dad, you read it. I play football." Dad's the one who goofed here.
You think
This is
Dad's goofed in other ways
Oh yeah.
that are going to come to light?
Yeah, this is bad. You're going to see probably one of the best natural athletes not last very long.
Because
his dad's going to tank his career.
in the way of what? How's his dad going to tank his career on the field?
Contractually, he'll mess him up and get him so hung up that it's going to be like not worth our headache.
So this isn't going to be a Bo Jackson, best natural athlete ever situation. This is going to be, he's going to get in his head.
Yeah, it's gonna mess him up.
Nate, do you have any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. Great podcasting, gentlemen. Signings of note in the NFL. The Lions shore up the quarterback position, and they signed Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million deal with 170 guaranteed. We like this move for the Lions.
No,
Not at that price.
not at that price. I think that was silly.
Yeah, I mean, you had one really good year where you get to the conference championship game, and he's kind of revitalized your city, but it's not like he's been a world beater.
Yeah.
What would have been a reasonable deal for Goff?
I don't know. They gave him what, 212? I say something around like 160 or 175.
With like 120, 130 guaranteed
Yeah.
Sure.
over 4 years. 4 years is a good term.
I don't even know if that's a good term.
I mean, given his play, yeah, I wouldn't go anything longer than that. I mean, if you go anything longer than that, you're looking at a big cap hit if you get rid of him or potential. I mean, he was drafted probably closer to 10 years ago, somewhere
That's what I
around
mean.
there.
We're making this guy the franchise. And like, does he got enough juice? Does he got enough rubber on the tires?
Well, I think they also re-signed Penei Sewell this offseason. They re-signed Amon-Ra St. Brown. So they're building a solid nucleus there.
They have Laporta coming back. Jameson Williams still with the team.
Jahmyr Gibbs, also a rookie last year.
Yep.
So you get what, one more year? And then the rookies, the 2 rookie deals.
What,
No,
2
rookie
rookie
deals are
deals?
usually like 4-year deals.
Yeah, they're like 3,
Are
4,
they?
5-year deals. Yeah.
I thought they were 3, and then the third one is the negotiation.
It depends on what round.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so really they've probably got another 2 years there in Detroit to make some noise.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know that I would hang my hat on Goff.
He's got
I
just
don't know.
as
They
good-
love him there.
He's got just as good as better stats than Stafford since the trade. So
I don't know.
Stafford's got the ring.
Stafford does have the ring. That is very true. Speaking of rings, hopefully coming to a Tampa Bay near you, Antoine Winfield Jr. is now the highest paid defensive back in NFL history as the Bucks DB signs a 4-year, $84 million deal. Nate, do you like the signing for the Bucks?
I do. I mean, that's one thing I think that's been holding him back is the secondary, and to really lock him down. I mean, they lost a big piece in Jordan Whitehead, but I think they got him back in the offseason, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, he's been their number one defender in the secondary. So to lock him up for 4 years is great. Now they just need to go find another corner because they traded Carlton Davis, oddly enough, to the Lions.
There we go. Looking up. Something that's not looking up right now is the Chiefs offseason. They've had quite an eventful offseason thus far. We had Rashee Rice arrested, facing 8 felony charges, and
8?
a couple
You say 8?
8 felony charges he's
Gotcha.
facing. A couple weeks later, Rashee Rice is accused of punching a photographer and charged with assault. First round pick Xavier Worthy had his car stolen as he moved to Kansas City. And 2 of the team's offensive linemen were arrested for marijuana possession. But currently taking the headlines is, of all people, the kicker, Harrison Butker, who spoke at a commencement ceremony for Benedictine College, which I think we can pretty safely say is a conservative Catholic institution that has brought people from all sides of the argument into this discussion. In his 20-minute commencement address, Bucker denounced abortion rights, Pride Month, COVID-19 lockdowns, and, quote, the tyranny of diversity, equity, inclusion. He said, and I quote, I want to speak directly, and this is the area that has caused the most, I will say, debate, discussion, arguments, outrage. He said,
By
I
the
quote,
way, you're dancing on this. This is good.
he said, I quote, I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross the stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
Are we starting the conversation then? Right
We'll
there.
start the conversation now, and then I'll talk about what the nun said afterwards. So, what are our initial thoughts on this, the discussion that has ensued, and do we fall in any particular way on that part of the discussion as he's talking about women and motherhood?
Okay.
Say that motherhood and being married.
First and foremost, Whoopi Goldberg came out and was like, well, that is his opinion. We cannot say he should not have that opinion because that is his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to support the guys taking knees, we have to support this guy for his opinion. We do not have to agree.
Correct.
I agree with that take. I will allow this man to have his opinion. Put a pin in that. Put that right there up on top.
Mhm.
However, okay,
However,
I've sat through many a graduation. I cannot speak for women. I can only speak for me. I did not sit in a graduation ever and think about, one, the titles and promotions I'm getting in my career, or the marriages or children I'm going to bring in the world. I thought about shut the fuck up and let me get the fuck home.
I'll
That's what I
second.
thought about.
Nate
Okay.
seconds that.
Two, as a 38-year-old adult with 2 children who has had the titles and promotions and a family, let me tell you, there are moments where they both fucking suck.
No matter which part of the relationship you are.
It sucks. Okay. So the lie is either one of those is great. They both suck. They both take a lot out of you, a lot of stress. It's miserable. I salute anybody who's doing either. If you're the stay-at-home mom, good for you. I've done that for 6 months. Holy fuck. For those of you who are chasing the corporate ladder, holy fuck. That's why I'm drinking Jack and Coke and podcasting with my friends currently to escape both of those evil fucking monsters some nights. Okay? This guy's way off fucking base and holier than thou. By the way, you're a fucking kicker.
Well, kickers are people too, Jim. Don't forget.
You're a kicker.
In all, what would make him? Is there any profession that this man could have that would make this statement, this address, more supported by his career choice?
No.
So it doesn't matter that he's a kicker. It's the fact that he said it.
But I just wanted to throw in there, you're a fucking kicker. Just hit him in the balls a bit. But that's his opinion. Good for him. I do not agree with his opinion.
Right. I did see a lot come out, the comparisons, and they're not necessarily direct comparisons between Colin Kaepernick and others that took stands against the national anthem and Harrison Butker. I think the biggest difference is that this college reached out and said, hey, come to our school and give this address. And that somebody looked at it and said, yeah, we're okay with this. Or he said, hey, I'm going to give an address. Do you guys want to look at it? And they said no. And then this came to be. So either somebody screwed up by not saying anything about what he was going to talk about, or somebody screwed up by not asking what he was going to talk about.
His Instagram was pretty fucking like. I know he only had X number of followers and X number of likes, but they knew what they were getting into if you dug a little deeper into this guy. Like, hey, this man's a God following right wing individual. And that's as nice as I can put that tonight. But they knew what they were getting into.
Well, I agree that they had some idea. But post this address and the fallout, the nuns came out. The Benedictine nuns came out against Butker's comments saying, instead of promoting unity in our church, our nation, and the world, his comments seem to have fostered division. One of our concerns was the assertion that being a homemaker is the highest calling for a woman. We sisters have dedicated our lives to God and God's people, including the many women whom we have taught and influenced during the past 160 years. These women have made a tremendous difference in the world in their roles as wives and mothers, and through their God-given gifts in leadership, scholarship, and their careers. When the nuns come out and tell you that you done goofed, I think we have to call into question what bringing Harrison Butker to commencement.
Okay. All right.
No, Jim, you don't feel that way? When the nuns come out and say, "Hey, come on now."
I think that's damage control. I do. I don't necessarily believe the sincerity in that. Again, you knew what you were getting in bed with. And when he invoked his teammate's girlfriend in his speech, the Swiftie Nation,
Okay, Taylor Swift.
the nuns were coming out to be like, "Whoa, Swifties, don't get us."
I don't know if they have a whole lot of crossover.
When the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen were like, "Sister, that shit was whack." The sisters went, "Uh-oh, panic button. We gotta put some distance on the kicker here."
We have any comments from the Harper household? We have a Swiftie there.
I love Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you listen to nothing about anything that was just discussed?
I have thoughts on the whole. I didn't listen to the speech.
All right, Sam, here we go. Sam,
Speech, but
Sam, if you were sitting in graduation and the speaker said, "Hey, the last 4 years you've been lied to. Your highest calling is being at home, building a life for you and Nate."
I have a big problem with people that think that women's only reason to be on this earth is to procreate and be slaves to their husbands. So I think it was slightly inappropriate that very inappropriate actually that he said that. But given the group that he was speaking to, that's a lot of the Catholic based like opinion is that that's all you should be doing. So I think he was trying to fit the agenda of what the school says. But he didn't. I also don't think that a man had any business speaking at a all women's college graduation. But that's
I
just
agree.
They did.
I
why
agree.
if it's an all women's school, why would you bring in a man to speak?
Because the hierarchy says so.
Yeah, but you're just asking for problems then.
But the Lord says.
Wow. That's a whole other conversation.
Muff, we going down that route?
Let's not.
What the Lord said? We're gonna go into like scripture.
We gonna turn this bus.
I
Run this
mean,
rudderless ship, Muff.
let's not forget the words
Oh,
were interpreted by man
okay. Listen, the guy
and have been interpreted and translated through 2 to 3 different languages.
the guy has the right to his
today.
opinion. And that's where I'm gonna leave that. Even though it's wrong.
Some words are okay. These ones were okay, just wrong.
Right.
All right. Speaking of things that were influenced by women's opinions,
Oh,
Jim's fandom. Our last update had Jim talking about how he seemed to just randomly allocate rankings to many of the teams based on what he thought his wife would like.
No, that's not what happened.
Oh, then please, Jim, tell us. Don't
My
get caught
wife
in there's a Bucker
voted.
situation here.
My wife voted blindly, and it did not shake out the way I wanted it to. So I have chosen to ignore it.
Oh, we ignored
For
the
her
woman's
opinion
opinion.
And we had decided that maybe we recast her vote and we asked her to try again.
How did that go, Jim?
We have not gone down that route yet.
Have we not gone down that route, or we have not brought up that discussion
We,
yet?
we've not brought up that discussion yet.
Okay. So, is that the last piece of your puzzle?
I believe so. I believe so. I was also waiting for the schedules to come out to see if, the television, am I going to see enough of the games? So I'm also playing that into the factor. Now that the schedules come out, it's gonna weigh a little bit into my viewing and my fandom.
So, realistically, what are we thinking by July?
Oh, I would say middle of June.
Middle of June. Then the next 4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah.
Jim will have his fandom set up for the year. Is this an extended fandom? Do we have contract terms? Do we have to put you to a Marvin Harrison Jr. term on this?
Oh, it's only gonna be a 1 year thing,
Or 1 year?
I think.
So you get to
I
bandwagon
will
jump after every
guarantee
year?
no. I will only guarantee 1 year.
Okay.
And then I will see what the Chargers do.
Oh, whoa. I thought you said you could never go back to the
Ah,
Chargers.
But what happens if they get rid of
I
him?
don't think that matters, does it, Nate?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard of stranger things. I mean,
I
it's
thought
okay,
it
Jim.
was.
Some people just go back to what they know and love. So
I know, man. This is what's hard. Like,
And the Chargers are off. They're off the table as long as Jim Harbaugh is coach,
correct.
no matter what.
No matter what.
You're saying if he's no longer coach, you are willing to consider them again,
I'm willing to go back.
subjectively or objectively.
Um,
Do they have to meet criterion, or is this just like I'm going to go there because of the Chargers?
yeah. Yeah.
What if Harbaugh's there for like 15 years?
Fuck.
Are you going to have a different team every year?
No. Like, I think at that point, like, I'm just gonna lock in.
Okay. Are these short-term deals? Are these going to be the next 1 or 2 years? How long? How long until you decide that I have to lock in for a team for more than a year?
Really, Muff, what it comes down to, right, is like it's gonna come down to TV watching for me. Like, if I can pick this next team and I see them enough on television to where my fandom will take root,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll be okay. But like if I pick this team and I don't see them at all, and I end up watching the Bengals or the Browns, like that's probably where I'll end up shifting.
Okay. Joe Burrow's still hanging out there, just saying.
So like they're gonna be the girlfriend I get comfortable with. I could see. So I might as well just go that route too. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Then the next 4 to 6 weeks, we will have Jim's fandom for this upcoming NFL year.
Right.
All right, from football to golf in the PGA Championship, Xander Schauffele wins his first major, taking the PGA Championship with a 6-foot birdie putt on the final hole to best Bryson DeChambeau by one shot at Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. But that has been overshadowed by golf's number one player, Scottie Scheffler.
That's because the winner didn't go to jail.
yet.
It's true. Golf is starting to heat up and everything off of the course. Scottie Scheffler was arrested on Friday morning by Louisville police after what was initially being described as a misunderstanding in a congested traffic situation after an early morning pedestrian fatality unrelated to Scheffler's incident.
This is where that's where it got like hazy for me. I tried to like search things and what happened before Scottie didn't know.
They tried to tell Scottie. So all the details I could find was around 5 a.m. There was a pedestrian-related fatality outside of the entrance to the golf club where a pedestrian was hit by a bus. I don't know if it was a high rate of speed or whether I don't know how it all went down, but
Mhm.
those are the basics. A pedestrian fatality and a bus was the vehicle that related to that. So this is what created the congestion to the entrance, right? This is one of those places only one way in.
So there's 3 lanes. This is what I've got. There's 3 lanes. There's the riffraff lane, another lane for
What is the riffraff lane?
like it's like everybody goes through the riffraff.
The middle lane?
The left lane. And then the middle lane is for like personnel. Then the right lane is players. Okay. The riffraff lane is blocked because of the bus accident, which is farther down the road. Has nothing to do with Scottie.
At that time.
Okay.
Like as far as it has something to do with him, which is what.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is before Scottie doesn't know. Okay. They're investigating bus hitting person. They shut down.
Yeah.
They shut down the riffraff lane because farther down the road, the bus had hit a person. So now we're down to 2 lanes. Scottie gets in a kerfuffle with policeman because he heard something, he was told something, he tries to end around the situation. From what I understand as a common man, cop,
Common man.
from what I get, from what I gather, tried to Billy Bass the situation, pulls onto the car, and gets drug a couple feet.
Up to 10 yards is what was reported. I don't know if it was the whole 10 yards, but that's how far Scottie Scheffler drove from time he thought he was able to go versus time he stopped.
Hurts his elbow, hurts his knee,
Has to get new pants.
and may have shit his pantaloons.
Valued at $80.
I heard 100, but okay.
80, it was 80 in the police report.
And may have shit his pantaloons.
I did not hear that. That's news to me.
That's the rumor.
I'm sure that's a rumor. That seems like a rumor by the golf fans, the Scottie Scheffler supporters.
So am I off base here?
So
aside from the shitting his pantaloons?
I would say that one's off base. Basically, as I understand it, your basic premise is correct. Scottie Scheffler and other PGA Tour, I don't know how to define this, people that had cars that had a specific distinction. I guess for the players that have their deals with Lexus, whoever it is, get cars that have some type of specific marking saying, hey, I am part of the PGA Tour. And the players had been told, hey, there's this issue going on. You are going to be able to get in. And I don't know if they gave them explicit directions on how to get in, aside from you're going to be able to circumvent the traffic stops. You just have to identify yourself as this. They'll confirm it. You'll be able to boop, 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 go around, and we'll get you in there, right? Because you have tee times. There's reasons you need to be in here on time. I guess, as you said, he was stopped. He thought that he was being told to go ahead. As you said, Billy Badass cop got a little heavy in his britches here, and
Because he shot them?
I don't know. I'm using those words for you to be able to say that if you want.
Thank you.
And the words by Jeff Darlington, who is a reporter that was in the vehicle to the right of Scottie Scheffler as this is going down, said that the police officer, quote unquote, attached himself to the car.
That's where I got the Billy Badass. Is this guy decided to quote unquote attach?
Right.
Right.
And this is where the videos came out, because Darlington has an actual reporting background. He got out and started to ask questions, you can't do anything for him. He's going to jail.
Yeah, it was basically very rudely dispersed.
Right. The reports of Scheffler was, as soon as he stopped, realized what had happened, the police officer pretty much all but broke the window, and said, get out. Scheffler, I guess, complied, simply got out of the vehicle. He was not thrown up, but pushed up against the car, was cuffed, and then taken away.
I heard he was pulled through the window.
I don't think he was pulled through the window.
That's what I heard.
I think maybe he was rolled down his window and the person grabbed his arm, but I don't think he was pulled.
Why was the window broken?
I didn't say the window was broken.
That's what Nate, did you hear broken window?
I said I said he all
Okay.
but broke the window with the
All
flashlight.
but broke the window.
Yeah,
Okay.
he called attention to, hey, dummy, roll down your window or get out of the car, kind of a thing. No,
Gotcha.
I was not heard that he was pulled through the window.
Gotcha. Okay.
So taken to jail. I think there were 4 or 5 charges. One which is
Book him, Dano.
a second degree felony of assault to a police officer. But since then, it has been reported that all of these charges are going to be dropped.
Well, was that said today? Because it was
Yes.
gonna be dropped yesterday.
This was reported today that they're going to be dropped.
Yeah, because they realized they'd done fucked up.
Right. And there was not that I would expect somebody to have their body cam on for this. You don't expect to be drug.
Oh, hold the fuck on. Hold on. There's no body camera footage.
There's 0 body
Like,
cam. The only
after
video
you-
footage is of Jeff Darlington and anybody else that was recording when they realized it was Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, once you got dropped on your ass, you would think you'd click the button or somebody around you would click the button. You have an assault on an officer. You think, click, click. Just touch the button. Nobody touched the button.
There's also the official police report. I guess there's a box that you can check if there's body cam footage, and it was checked on the report, but there's no body cam footage
They goofed.
according to police.
That goof, Billy Badass, just got way too snarious. But then they escort his ass back via police car after he stretches in his jail cell for his warm up.
And he's there 45 minutes to get some shots in, and then he takes the course and shoots 5 under.
I thought it was 9.
He was 9 under after day 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah. One of the most interesting things that golf has ever had happen, and this includes Tiger Woods, John Daly. And
I don't think you're good unless you go to jail.
there's a lot. There were some nice memes and things on Twitter that the PGA Tour or golf, not just the PGA Tour, golf is trying to recreate Tiger Woods in the aggregate, a la the Moneyball movie scheme, and we can't replace Tiger Woods, but we can try to recreate him with everyone else doing things that he's done throughout his career.
Yeah.
Like go to jail and bang hookers.
Yeah.
And be involved in sultry affairs, which is also coming out on Sunday. It's being reported that golf reporter Amanda Balionis, who recently dropped the hyphenated Renner as she was married to a former NHL player, she's not been wearing her wedding ring for months now, has been involved in an affair with Rory McIlroy, who filed for divorce this past week. If true, this would just play into all of this.
But what a good time to let that drop.
It'd been awesome to do that on like Friday or Saturday, not wait till Sunday.
I mean, I don't really think anybody's talking about it. We
I
are.
I find it very interesting, and there's some
Yeah, but I
interesting.
can give a fuck less. Your number one golfer is getting in fights with cops. And
Xander won his first major after many shots, coming up just behind.
Nobody cares about you, Xander.
Nobody gives a
Nope, nobody cares about his first major.
Nope.
Amanda's the one that does the after round reporting and does the interviews. I'm just waiting for somebody to ask her a question. Like, how's Rory? You guys good? But in the end, nothing to worry about because everybody, Happy Gilmore 2 has officially been confirmed by Netflix.
How do you do a Happy Gilmore 2 and not throw shit like this in there? Happy, well, look out. And you're pulling the cop.
I mean, I don't know. He's more tongue-in-cheek usually, not current. This isn't SVU. This is Law and Order.
Done.
But I mean, it'll be fun. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, if he's going to be on like the senior tour or how that's going to play out. But I'm interested and excited.
Yeah, all right.
All right, Jim, the moment you've been waiting for.
Now I'll let you go, and then I'm gonna throw filler in.
The WNBA, also known colloquially as the W.
Really?
Are you going to call it the W now, Jim?
I might.
In the W, Caitlin Clark effect is doing its thing over the first week of the season as the New York Liberty reported a record $2 million in ticket revenue after Saturday's game with the Indiana Fever. In fact, it was mentioned at a post-game presser, and Brianna Stewart and others, I think Sabrina Ionescu was there as well, were like, oh, really? Oh, thank you. Maybe we're gonna get some more money now. Caitlin Clark has found some resistance in her games on the court,
Resistance. Whew.
being held scoreless in her first half of her first game, and then I'm going to say being bullied by Liberty players on screens during the game on Saturday. Clark still seems
Bullied.
to
She
be
got dropped on her ass.
bullied.
Dropped on her ass by Brianna Stewart. Then she got shook by an Ionescu. Like, and then Ionescu threw the shrug.
Mm.
Like, she got punked. And the problem is Brianna Clark is like a stick, and these girls are
Caitlin
real
Clark?
women. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is a stick. These girls are real women. Put some meat on the bones, girl. You're in Indiana, get some corn.
She still seems to be in good spirits. And the Fever now have a charter plane for all of their away games after, again, this was called into question by people in and around the WNBA. Something that isn't apparently standard across the league yet.
Fuck the charter plane. Get it some T-bones.
Fever now 0-3 with Clark averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, along with 7 turnovers per game.
This girl needs to call Zion. Like, what are you eating?
I know she's in Indiana. Maybe Pat McAfee can hook her up.
Somebody needs to. She getting hurt.
She doesn't want to be on the Pat McAfee diet. That includes things that are going to test positive.
That's fine. She needs to.
She needs that to get the late night
herbally infused,
so she can get the munchies.
Yeah,
Back on
her
the
fridge
pounds.
can be stacked with meat.
Peanut butter.
Good grief!
It's peanut butter jelly time.
You get her an Uncrustables contract, like the Kelsey brothers.
She's getting crushed. I mean, she's getting hit, and this is like, "Don't get up, Rocky! Don't get up! It's over."
She is. I don't think everyone was totally ready for the size difference. I agree, Jim. That comparing her to others, like she was a big fish in a small pond in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Bayou Barbie ain't gonna have this problem.
I'm not gonna say she's gonna have that problem. There's still a lot of detractors of her game as well.
I don't know, man. Twig Girl is not gonna make it if we don't get her some meat. I'm about to buy half a cow for her. Ship it there myself.
Another W news, the WNBA has opened an investigation into the Las Vegas Aces players for receiving $100,000 sponsorships. One day after the Las Vegas Tourism Board announced that every player on the Aces would receive a $100,000 sponsorship, the WNBA opened an investigation into the bonuses. A league spokesperson confirmed. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority President CEO Steve Hill said the situation was handled the right way. We did something that we think works for Las Vegas and I think is great for the players. We did this without the team. It was our idea, and any questions they ask, they'll find that out.
Hey, WNBA, shut the fuck up.
Why?
Somebody else is paying your players because you won't.
Of all of the things that we're going to get upset about is some type of sponsorship deal that gives them $100K.
Yeah, shut up.
For a team that's won the past 2 WNBA championships.
Good God.
And this is what we're going to make a big deal about? We can't even put you on charter planes. Sorry, guys.
Hey, our league's getting notoriety. Let's fucking ruin their lives. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
This is the thing that you do in October when you're trying to remain relevant, not the thing you do when the season has started off.
Hey, we got ticket sales up to 2 million. Let's rob them.
I did see that with Caitlin Clark, there's already been a fallout after like maybe the first week of games that ticket brokers were trying to buy up all the tickets and then resell. And there were tickets that were like going for like $5 at a home Indiana Fever game that were probably purchased for probably 100, 200 plus. So I'm curious of what the ticket sales and prices are going to look like for the rest of the season.
This just in, WNBA is run by Kevin.
Maybe Harrison Bucker has some thoughts on the WNBA and his players.
Oh, I bet he does.
Sure he does. Moving on to horse racing in the Preakness, Seize the Gray wins the Preakness, ruining Mystic Dan's opportunity for the Triple Crown and giving trainer D. Wayne Lucas the win and he becomes the oldest trainer at 88 years old to win a Triple Crown race.
Good for him. Can we skip the NBA playoffs? Like, nobody cares.
Go ahead, Jim. Tell us about the NHL playoffs then.
The Hurricanes are out. Boston's out. The Rangers are in, and I hate it. They're facing the Florida team. I don't know who won last night's game with the Oilers.
Oilers won 5-1. They played Game 7 Monday night.
So that their colors make it hard to watch television.
What color is that, Jim?
It's like bright orange and blue against bright green and blue. I tried to watch it. Miserable. Miserable. The winner of that game will go against the Stars, which we hope they win because nobody wants Canada in there because we're America. But I also
Definitely Dallas of all of the teams.
I don't want
At
the
least
Florida team to
Dallas
win.
wins.
I don't want the Panthers to win, but I hate rooting for the Rangers. This is just a bunch of yuck. But
So who are you rooting
entertaining.
for, Jim?
At this point, like I have to go with Dallas. Because all the fan favorites are out. All my like home rivalries, like I was rooting for the Canes for my father-in-law. I hate the New York team. I'm going for Dallas.
This
What we're
just
going
in:
for.
the Dallas Cowboys have taken a top 5 spot in Jim's fandom in the NFL.
Don't say that. No.
Yeah, does the success of the other teams in the area have any factor?
New York's got to feel great, right?
For you,
They
Jim.
got- No.
That was Nate's question. It had
No.
nothing to do with the NHL. It had to do with your fandom.
No, not at all. I don't know. The Hurricanes, Panthers are in the top 10 for me.
Well, they have no primetime games.
I know. Their schedule sucks.
And they play the Giants in Germany.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't want to talk
Anyway.
about Bronny James, Jim?
I don't give
Where
a
he's
fuck
gonna
about
end
the
up?
NBA. No.
Where the
no,
Bron-
Back in
where-
college,
Where
damn
boy
short.
from that boy from Akron, where he's going to end up in his final seasons, is going to play
he's
with
not
his
from
son.
Akron. He's from LA.
He's from
We ain't
Akron, Jim.
claiming him.
He went. You don't claim LeBron James of all
We
of the
don't. We
players.
don't. No, Bronny.
Ohio
We
did
don't
not
claim
claim.
Bronny.
You don't play.
We don't claim Bronny.
Do you claim LeBron James?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
LeBron James is the boy from Akron, not Bronny.
Yeah, Bronny's not. No.
Does Bronny real talk for a second? Do you think
Mhm.
Bronny has any chance of truly being an NBA player after his father retires?
He's not bad.
His numbers say otherwise.
He's like 6'1", and that's the biggest knock on him right now is his size.
He can shoot a little bit. He's okay.
How many points did he average this year?
It was
US?
like 5. He had to
a heart
pass.
attack, didn't he?
Well, he had a traumatic cardiac event.
All right. Well,
That was part
cut
of
him
it.
some slack.
He had to pass his physical to even participate in the draft, whatever the draft training activities that they have. Their combine, I guess.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
He's going to be on an NBA squad.
I don't care about the NBA. Can we please move on?
You don't want to talk about Nikola Jokic winning his 3rd MVP, Jim?
Don't care.
The Pacers knocking off the Knicks?
That was cool because I hate New York, but
And how there's a Game 7 happening right now?
don't care.
Game 7 hockey is better than Game 7 basketball.
That's right, Nate.
Denver is at 53-38 in Game 7 over the Timberwolves.
Don't care.
What's a Timberwolf?
That's right.
What's a Hilltopper?
Isn't Timberwolf's goal?
What?
Like, isn't that what you put in your lip?
Don't know if that's a brand.
Used to be.
A Timberwolf is a whole lot. What's a Buckeye, Jim?
It's a nut.
Exactly.
I'll kill you if you eat
I thought it was
it.
a peanut butter ball dipped in chocolate.
It can be. Also good.
All right,
Let's
Jim.
go to the fight game.
Get into the fight game. Tell us what's up.
Tyson Fury versus a Ukrainian.
Is that how you're gonna say that? Are
That's
you
how he
already in
said it.
Tyson Fury's camp?
That's what he said. The
Alexander Usyk?
Ukrainian unified the heavyweight title for the first time since Lennox Lewis in 2000, beating Tyson Fury via split decision. Blows my mind. Usyk had Fury on the ropes for a better part of 15 to 20 seconds in round 9. No,
Not
he
just
had him knocked on
the
his
ropes,
feet.
all of the ropes.
Yeah, he had him knocked out on his feet. The ref should have stopped the fight.
Saved by the bell, and the
Yeah,
ref not intervening.
The ref said, well, we got to make money here.
We gotta get 12, 15. How many rounds?
Fury says he feels like he won that fight. Fury's nuts. There's a
Well-
rematch clause. We're going to run that back. Fury
Well-
also says the only reason he won is because the judges felt for the Ukrainian because he's from Ukraine. And there's a war.
He did say that very explicitly. I think he also said something about it being a happy new year to everybody.
Yeah.
There was a lot of concern about his mental state
Because he was knocked out in round 9.
right. I don't know
He
why.
was gone.
Why do we allow boxers to have these discussions after the fight?
Because he's the Gypsy King and he came back once from like having his lights out and knocked a guy out one time. We think, oh my God, he's a magician. No, he got lucky.
He's not a magician, Jim. He's a gypsy. They're two different things.
He's a gypsy, right?
Two
I
different
don't know if
things.
gypsy's an okay word though. I don't know.
We're not using it in derogatory term. We're using it to describe him as he describes himself.
Yeah, okay. He's something, I'll tell you that much. Full of shit's what he is.
I mean, they do have a rematch. What is it scheduled for? Is it before?
They don't think they've signed the date yet.
Okay. I knew there was a clause in there. So Usyk, this is a long time coming. It's been almost a quarter of a century since we've had a unified heavyweight.
Yeah, really cool.
That's
Really
pretty
cool.
interesting. I actually looked back. There were a lot of threads on Twitter that were showing like the progression of the fighters who had the unified belt. And it, up until the 90s was pretty consistent. And then we had this 25-year gap.
Now, when boxing took a shit.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Because it was profitable to have multiple champions in different spots.
Indeed.
Because boxing's rigged. Speaking of rigged, one of the Paul brothers and Tyson had
Jake Paul.
weigh-in.
They had a weigh-in, they had a presser. I don't think it was a weigh-in. What do we call this?
Hype,
A promotion?
sure. I'll tell you this much. If Tyson doesn't kill that boy and knock him out, I give up. I will not talk boxing on this podcast again.
Can't be rigged, Jim. It's a sanctioned fight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if he doesn't knock him out, I'm not talking on boxing on this show.
I mean, Tyson's 50-some years old, Jim.
I don't care. The Paul brothers are fat ass.
You sure?
Yeah. Tyson's lean and high and crazy.
Can you confirm he's high?
Yeah. Multiple
That's true.
podcasts.
Yeah, you're right. He does confirm that pretty regularly, I think.
Yes. I'm pretty sure he smokes marijuana because to level himself out from killing people.
Or because, his joints hurt.
Either one. Probably both, same time.
Nate,
Like,
what are your thoughts on this? This
I'm
has
with
to
Jim.
get into your algorithm, so I wouldn't really know what you think.
I'm with Jim. I want to see Paul get knocked the fuck out.
But is that what's
God.
really going to happen?
Not early on.
So you think it's going to happen?
I would say it's going to happen in a later round because they got to make as much money as they can. Although I can see Tyson not listening to the bell.
oh, I hope.
Sorry, guys, I didn't hear that.
I hope.
I also don't know if Tyson can make it past 6 or 7 rounds.
I think he can.
Well, if that's the case, I really hope Paul doesn't just go ring around the rosy on him.
I don't know that Paul can. I don't think he's got the footwork for it.
How many Paul fights have you watched, Jim?
I've watched too many to admit to.
How many, Jim? Have
All
you
of
purchased these? You've purchased all of these?
No. I would go back and illegally steal them. That motherfucker's not getting my money.
Except when he fights Tyson.
Well, I have Netflix.
That's true. Is it going to be a pay-per-view on Netflix?
I hope to God not.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be.
I'll be so mad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to pony up something for that, Jim.
We'll see. Your question about David Magic Man Taylor?
I don't know. You want to take on the fight game, Jim? You want to skip the NBA?
Well, David Magic Man Taylor, Penn State legend, has accepted the head coaching job at Oklahoma State after retiring from international competition. Will this help Oklahoma State? Yes.
Gotta think recruiting.
Yeah, I think that'll help recruiting. I think the program. I think the routine. I think everything. The structure. Yes. Do I think it'll put them on the scale of Penn State? Hell no. That thing's a well-oiled machine. But I think it will elevate the game. Yes.
Yeah, they did. This just came in. Air Force Academy wrestler Wyatt Hendrickson, who had the most pins, I believe, last year, and was an All-American at heavyweight, has transferred to Oklahoma State. That's just within the past hour.
That's what I mean. It's gonna be nice.
And I think they just brought on an assistant coach who is also a pretty well-known international wrestler. I don't think he had Penn State ties, but I think he was a well-known international wrestler.
So I know you give me a chance all the time to put things in notes, so I'm not gonna be like, Muff, why is this on here? Because I had ample time to put this on here. But women's softball regional tournaments all around the country this weekend. First off, Oklahoma, badasses. Love Oklahoma. Can we talk for a second about Penn State's uniforms?
Sure, I have not seen them.
Their white uniform sucks. Like absolutely dog shit.
Okay.
Dark blue, cool. White, what the fuck? It just was ugly as shit. Was not flattering. Just awful.
Why, Jim?
Because like the letters were tiny, but like so that was made.
Or they
kinda
were made by fanatics.
Maybe it was just bad.
Why does it matter if the letters were tiny? I need to understand why the optics
Because
were
you're
bad.
you're kind of like trying to see what was on it, and it like made you like squint at it, and it kind of looked ill fitting, like it was like baggy.
Okay.
Not it was just was not.
I honestly thought you were going towards it made you stare at parts of their body that you wouldn't
Oh no,
particularly make yourself want to stare at otherwise.
no. It was just not visually not appealing. Not because I turned on the Penn State game because like, ooh, Big Ten. Indiana's already out. I want to watch a Big Ten game if I'm not watching Oklahoma. I was like, not watching that shit. That's visually hard on my eyeballs. Also, Omaha. Kind of hard to watch too. Big ass Omaha across their chest. Looked like a goddamn NASCAR.
Big ass.
I was like, why is there NASCAR lettering on your fucking jersey? The fuck? Anyway, I love
So
softball.
I know. I was gonna say that are there. I mean, is this just the regional or is this a super regional?
This is regional. Next weekend, super regional.
Who
My
are
kids
the
fucking
teams to
hate
watch
me right now.
based on what
as
you've
mu-
seen?
Much as I hate to say it, I think Michigan's still in. Missouri, and Oklahoma. I think UCLA is still in. I think they were playing tonight when I came up here for the podcast. So I'm not 100% sure.
I don't expect you to stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning to watch those games.
No, they're all over like today. They were all
Oh.
like all the eliminations were on this afternoon.
I know I've actually got one on in the background right now. It's Cal State Fullerton and same. Is that number 6 or number 8 Stanford?
Really, I want to know if
I can't see that far away.
and entertaining is UCF still in? Does anybody know? Let me
It's
check.
Cal State Fullerton, or are you talking about Central Florida?
Central Florida. I'll check. Let me see who's still in. Bracket. Today's the 19th, right?
Correct. Recording on the 19th.
Tennessee.
They're
really
good.
Florida
Florida.
Gulf Coast.
Speaking of Florida, I saw earlier.
Florida's damn good.
Jason Williams' daughter plays for Florida.
Huh. Yeah, Missouri's damn good. LSU. Duke. Love Duke. Their outfits are classy as fuck. Georgia. Baylor's in. I don't like Baylor's uniforms. They're disgusting. Even Tessa was like, that's gross.
Because is it because of the green? Is it a weird green color? Or?
Yeah, very weird green color. Damn, I think yeah, Auburn beat UCF. That sucks. UCF was very entertaining to watch. But yeah, super excited for next weekend. That's all I did this weekend was watch softball. I don't know why. That's just
That's
my
what you
thing.
did.
Yeah, I just like it.
So your kids
Penn-
hate you.
Yeah, they hate me. Penn State lost to Texas A&M.
Okay, they made it one game farther, I think, then because
Yeah.
they were in elimination. I saw they were in elimination. I haven't watched any of the games. I saw they were in like the bottom part of the bracket. So
Yep. So softball.
anything on baseball, Nate?
Ugh.
I did not watch any college baseball today. I actually had a game this afternoon.
They're in
When-
regionals too, aren't they?
No, they're not. They're just starting conference tournaments this week.
Gotcha.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates,
Still suck.
they're mid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're mid, but they've got some promising young pitching. Finally,
Paul Skeens finally has made his way. 11 strikeouts in his second game. I think it was 10 in his first game. Got his first win in that second game, even though the Pirates tried to give up a 9-run lead in the ninth inning, as only they could do. But
yeah, Jim, I think he'd be a Skeens guy. He just goes up there. He's like 6'5", 6'6", throws the ball 100 to 101 miles an hour.
Is he the one going viral?
yes,
Yeah, his girlfriend is. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
they
it.
both are.
I like it.
Are you talking about your girlfriend, Libby Dunn?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go home, Muff. Take us home. I got an all-star race I want to go watch.
Let's talk about NASCAR real quick then. What's happening?
Joey Logano is winning the all-star race. Kyle Larson qualified for Indy, then came in, and now he's running 6th. So
And we have the Indy 500 this upcoming week.
yeah, hopefully I get to watch that too. But I think I have to work.
Okay. That takes us to the end of this week's episode. As a reminder, you can follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Make sure that you get involved with any of our upcoming competitions where you can win free prizes, such as hats, tumblers, and maybe other things sponsored by Harper and Company.
That's me.
But in order to do that, you have to make sure that you tell a friend, make a friend, be